You know David Go. These guys have a great church in Bakersfield, and I was sitting at a table with him, I don't know, I think it was yesterday, all the days run together, and he was sharing with me just some testimony about transformation, and I told Bill, I said, man, we have to have him share this testimony, so we're going to start this way.
Hey, we're in an incredible season of grace in Bakersfield, which is about 2 hours north of Los Angeles, and I just want to thank this house in particular. You guys have sown so much into our region, and I was telling Bill and Chris that they're papas to a move of the Spirit that is happening in our community. On June the 22nd, our church, the Garden Community Church, and the Vineyard Christian Fellowship of Bakersfield, and a Baptist church, Good Neighbor Church, and we were joined in by Grace Assembly of God. We decided to host in for a 4-day, we called it a God Encounter series of meetings, someone who we had met down in Brazil during a Randy Clark mission event down there, Pastor Lucas Sheridan from Houston, Texas. And so we began these 4-day series of meeting, and on that Sunday night, as Lucas was speaking, God gave us the gift of spiritual hunger, because he couldn't even complete the sermon, and about 200 people rushed the stage, and for about 25 minutes at the top of our voices, we were just calling out simply for more of God. So we sort of looked at each other and said, well, we can't stop now, so we should extend a couple more days, and a couple more days, and we just completed the 20th week of this 4-day meeting. We've had about probably anywhere from 10 to 15 churches sort of join with us. Some nights we have a couple hundred people, some nights we have 75 people. We've seen incredible manifestations of the glory of God that have encouraged us so much. We've seen feathers and gold dust, and we've had a release of creativity in worship. Some nights we've started with one opening song, and the rest of the hour and a half has been all spontaneous music. Trying to play in harmony with heaven, stretching time and key signature, and just caught up trying to do heaven and earth worship together. We've had fire tunnels of incredible joy. We've had the presence of God be so weighty that we have been absolutely silent for 30 minutes, which among Pentecostals, absolute miracle. But when he's here like that, you don't want to say anything. You don't want to show your gift. You just are laid out and bowed down. We've seen beautiful healings. We've seen gifts of boldness being given to people. One prison guard left a meeting, and the next day he led his entire inmate work crew to Jesus Christ. The only way to bring the crime rate down in California is for there to be a revival throughout our entire prison system. Turn people from being repeat offenders into people who walk in their destiny and the power of signs and wonders as they go back in their communities. And these are just such incredible, hopeful things to us. A couple was celebrating their anniversary, invited a homeless man into the nice restaurant they were going to. He accepts the Lord right there over his filet mignon. Turns out he's the gatekeeper for the entire homeless community in San Luis Obispo. And people just stepping out because they're encountering the person of God. But one thing we've tried to do is, although we appreciate so much what the Lord is doing with these signs, is we've tried to make our meetings about one thing, and that is just the pursuit of knowing Him more. Mark DuPont swung by to sort of check it out because he had so many prophetic words for us about Bakersfield, and he encouraged us to focus on Psalm 132. He says God is wanting Bakersfield, and I believe your city, to be a resting place for His presence. David says there about the Lord that God has desired to make Zion His resting place and His habitation. And as we've invested in extravagant worship, we meet up to 4 nights a week, we have also seen something else happen, and that is Psalm 132 goes on. It says, the city in which God makes His resting place, He then says, I will abundantly bless her provision. I will satisfy her poor with bread. I will clothe her priests with salvations. Her saints will sing a new song of joy. I'll raise up a horn of authority, and I'll defeat your enemies. And as we've invested in extravagant worship, we have seen favor release on an effort of citywide transformation that's been going on in our region. For about the past 3 years, we've been quietly behind the scene networking in relationship, people who got in the government, in education, in the marketplace, in the media, in the arts, and we have a network of city council people, county supervisors, judges, the head of the high school district, the head of law enforcement, the head of emergency response, media anchors, and not as a public face, certainly not protesting anything, but building a relationship and saying, how has God assigned us to our place of influence in order to bring transformation to the most pressing needs of the city? We've been doing this for about 3 years, and slow going, busy people, but as we have invested in this worship, this extravagant worship, favor was released about 3 weeks ago. The nonprofit that is a part of the Garden Community Church called Garden Pathways, and another nonprofit which we partner closely with in the city called Stay Focused Ministries. We were given by our county nearly $1 million to engage in the prevention and intervention of gang violence in our community. And I was really blessed by what Chris said about the transfer of wealth the other night, because not one penny of that is going to build my church or expand my salary. It's all going directly to meet the needs of at-risk families, to bring support networks to parents, to intervene in the education of kids that are below third grade who haven't yet been influenced by the gang legacy of their families. And it's an incredible blessing. Lance Wall now helped us see something. He said that as a mountain of the church invests in extravagant worship and just declares the goodness of God again and again, it's like knife stabs in the belly of the beast, the demonic principalities that control the other mountains in our community, and it releases favor and opportunity for us. And so we're believing that this is just the beginning of something of a progression in which Bakersfield will become a city of righteousness. I just want to encourage you. I was telling the Lord, if I get a chance to speak, may just one other city hold on to the hope that they have. I want to encourage you not to underestimate the moments of hope and the new friends you make at an advance like this. I can trace so much of what has happened in our city to moments that I experienced here in this building. It was probably 7 years ago when Bill was telling the story about praying in Vacaville for a domino city, that hope in my heart, which had just been pretty much exhausted, was rekindled to believe for my city. I was wandering out in the parking lot trying to stay awake during afternoon session on my cell phone. I ran into a guy named Lance. We struck up a friendship, and later he grows to become Dr. Lance Wall now of international recognition. But there was a friendship that we cultivated. You don't know who you just made friends with over dinner. The destiny they play in your life. I was standing back there in the corner probably 4 years ago, totally frustrated with trying to bring city unity by working with pastors, and I said, God, you've got to give me the blueprint. Probably 8 people walked around as at the end of the empowerment time that advance, and they prayed blueprint over me. In a week and a half, I had a complete download on how to apply the 7 Mountain Principle to our city. Evangelical churches in our community are practicing, without knowing it, the prophetic revelation of Lance Wall now. Over dinner, I talked for about 5 minutes with Randy Clark, convinced us and our entire elder team to go down to Brazil this past September. As I was sitting in the lobby trying to get internet access on my laptop, Bill Dew, who became my friend probably 6 years ago from Vacaville at a meeting here, walks over and said, hey, there's another guy I need you to meet. He walks me over to the other Asian trying to get on the internet with his laptop. Turns out it's Lucas Sheridan. We shake hands and something transacts in the divine realm in terms of the destiny of our city. You just don't know, and do not give up hope. Because there are moments, if you continue to seek the Lord and just give your life extravagantly to Him, there's that moment in which He will bring release. And I know that you're contending for your city as I have for mine. And in the partnership together, we're going to see the glory of the Lord cover the earth, transforming city after city. I know we will not rest until we see the glory of the Lord fill the great valley of California from Redding in the south, north to Bakersfield in the south. We're hearing Stockton's on fire. I'm hearing of incredible political influence in the city of Fresno. God is at work in our communities, and may you just be encouraged by what he's doing in Bakersfield. God bless you guys.